Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's your boy D Black coming to you with a Saturday night main event review. All right, this show was more or less predictable. I mean, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad. It was just it was okay. So let's get to it. We have Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss going against Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. The match, it was okay. There wasn't too many flaws in it and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty good. B-Fab to me looked like she's kind of improving into the ring and stuff. I mean, she's getting a little bit more movement in the ring. She's a little bit more fluent in the ring and stuff. Michin has always been that way and stuff. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, they try to do their thing and stuff like that. For the most part, I thought, maybe Charlotte and Rhea may get into it, but, for the most part, they didn't and stuff. The match was okay. Um, it was a little bit back and forth. Charlotte took a lot of heat and stuff, but ultimately, Jay gets in the ring and she riptides. I mean, she jaded Rhea Ripley for the win. So Rhea gets jaded for the win and stuff. And then we move on from there. And then, you got a little thing with Ethan Page talking about, Intercontinental title. And he's going to make it a prestige title and that he's going to win and take Penta down. Then we get Sol Ruka and Becky Lynch. You know, um, the match was a pretty short match. For the most part, I don't even think this match lasted maybe 2.5 minutes and stuff. They get in the ring, they start wrestling and everything. Stuff is going good. I mean, Becky's arguing with Jessica Carr because they have heat. Some other stuff that's happened in Becky's matches with this referee and stuff. And then Soruka gets up and she gets ready to do a soul snatcher, but Becky grabs the referee and puts her in the place of it, and then the referee get her soul snatched, and then the ref goes ahead and DQs Becky Lynch for grabbing her, putting her in that position and stuff, and then Becky eventually attacks Soruka and stuff and everything, and so the match is over. So I'm sure that they're going to be, well, actually, they will be fighting for the women's IC title, in Clash in Italy. And then you get a little something with, a Lash Legend and Nia Jax saying basically the same thing that, they're going to take Paige and Brie Bella, to the limit and get back the titles that they never lost. Kind of tired of hearing about that. The titles that we never lost. If you never lost them, why aren't you the title? I mean, why aren't you the champions then? So apparently you lost them, even though you didn't get pinned to lose them, you still lost them. Anyway, we get the match with Ethan Page and Penta. The match was pretty. This was a pretty solid match. It was pretty good. You know, um, Ethan Page, kicks out of a Penta driver at one point in the match and everything, and in another point in the match, Penta kicks out of an avalanche slam and stuff, and then ultimately, Mexican Destroyer, wins it, and Penta retains, and he's still IC title and stuff. I'm sure down the road somewhere, Ethan Page will probably, get a title match, and he probably will be champion soon and stuff. As a world champion, probably later on down the road, but he may end up getting this IC title and stuff. So, all right, moving on. We had the match, the women's tag team title match with Nia Jax and Lash Legend against Paige and Brie Bella. And this match was a little sloppy and stuff. But for the most part, it was okay. The ending was kind of tacky and stuff like that. You got like a little roll up pin and then Brie, holds Paige as she rolled up Lash Legend and had her countdown for the pin and stuff. So, I mean, that was a kind of trashy win, or trashy way to win, and stuff like that. I think a few, they've done that, in a match before for the titles and stuff like that. I even think that's how they even got the titles, with that very same kind of like pin. But anyway, moving on to the main event. Then we have the Vision against the Street Profits. Logan Paul as Vision and Austin Theory, and then the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. You know, this match, this match actually was a real good match. I mean, they were actually really going at it and stuff. So, but then again, here comes the predictability of it. And anytime that, that the Vision are in a match, whether it be Logan Paul or Austin Theory, in a match, or whether or not Braun Breaker's in a match with somebody, they're going to always interfere. It's always going to happen and stuff, and it's crazy, So with the Vision, they're so predictable on how they, that that they're gonna win, and it looked like for a minute there that the Street Profits were gonna win. I mean, it got crazy, you know. At one point, as the Street Profits were actually up on the Vision, Braun Breaker comes out, to interfere, and then he goes, runs across through the ring, around the ring to try to spear, I guess Angelo Dawkins, but Montez Ford, and Montez Ford, leapfrogs him, and Angelo Dawkins tosses him over, tosses Braun Breaker across the announcer's table, you know and then Montez Ford goes in and hits a frog splash on Austin Theory, and gives him the cover and everything, and then Paul Heyman grabs Austin Theory's foot and puts it on the bottom rope, and then as all this is happening and everything, Logan Paul hits Montez Ford, with some brass knuckles and everything. And Angela Dawkins, jumps over the top rope onto Logan Paul, but the damage had already been done. Logan Paul had already hit Montez Ford with the brass knuckles, and Austin Theory, gives a slow crawl over and covers him, for the pin, and the Vision win and retain their tag team titles. Well, after that, Braun Breaker does what he always does. He runs back to the ring and he takes out both Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, both of them with a spear and stuff. But like I said, a lot of things on this card. I mean, it was okay and stuff. It wasn't really bad. It's just that some of it's just so predictable. And I don't know what the reason is between Becky Lynch and Rujka, why that match ended the way that it did, and it was so short. That was kind of crazy and stuff. But anyway, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, your thoughts, you agree, disagree, or anything that I say and stuff. Again, thank you for watching. God bless, deuces, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.